Hello, everyone. Welcome again to One Global Movement Building Hopes and Dreams, where we unite, come together in love to help children, young people, and women worldwide to defeat hunger, illiteracy, poverty, and a lot of the other things that are facing them in the world. And we continue to discuss this. Today is the ninth, the 16th day of discussion against gender based violence ends tomorrow. But we're going to add one more day because we had to take it piecemeal, making sure that we touch every area and taking our time to make sure that we understand and everyone understands. So, thank you again so much for being here. Look like Brady is in the studio. Let me see if I can. You're muted, Gray. I hope you hear me. All right. So, and how was your weekend? That's the number one thing. How was your weekend? How did you spend your weekend? Did you have a good time? And I believe that you did because I did. The only difference is we are a little cold here. This is the cold season, and like I did not step my leg out yesterday at all. I was just hibernating in and doing things, and when I'm tired, I walk around, go up and down, a little exercise, then come back, lay down, and get up and do something, and or play music. So but I know that we thank God for being a part of this day. If we have been chosen as those to experience this new day, we are so grateful and we want to do the very best to make sure that our experiences and our contribution today counts towards not just tomorrow, but for subsequent generations to come. So thank you guys so much again for being here. And Sister Yvonne's microphone is being a little stubborn. It did before in the past. Mine too did in the past. But eventually, it is going to be friendly again. And I thank you for being here to support me because when you have that support, when you have somebody standing with you, together with you, then you have that confidence to know that, if something were to happen, the other person is going to pick me up. And this is what we are doing here in One Global Movement because we are family. But I always want to thank Mr. Ashmufara again and again for bringing this world family together. What we're doing here today, as we come together, is as a result of Mr. Ashmufara and Unpassive. And we thank him and we wish him a happy holiday and his family, and those that are also helping to build Unpassive for us. And thanks to all the Unpassive ambassadors all over the world that together we can change the world. Together we can rewrite the history as it concerns children, young people, and women in our own different endeavors, like Mr. Ash Mufara says, that we can take Unpassive into our own different endeavors and do the best. And that's what we are doing here today. So happy holidays to everyone. And I know that we have two holidays. Christmas is good because as a child, I really love Christmas. And even though it's not in the scriptures, but it's something that makes children happy, something that brings people together, something that helps us to show our gratitude and joy for one another, even though we do it every day. But this is a special moment that we all can do. But New Year, and I know and I'm praying that it's going to meet us and we're going to even be so prosperous in 2025. I am decreeing and declaring over One Global Movement and every child, every young person, every mother, all of us here, our audience in the chat, and our well wishers, our supporters, that 2025 is going to be a different kind of a year for them. That whatever they have planned to do, God will expand them in ways that they never imagined. So it's our tradition here to begin the week and give it into the hands of God and to really cover us in whatever thing we are doing, that we should follow his own divine law. So if we can just bow down and head, do whatever you want because it's different for everybody. So this one that I'm doing is my own way. You can do it your own way as well. And so let's bow down our heads. Heavenly Creator, we come before you with hearts full of hope and faith. seeking your divine guidance for the leaders of nations across the globe. Grant them the gift of discernment that they may lead with wisdom beyond human understanding. Let their decisions foster unity where there is division, peace where there is conflict, and love where there is indifference, especially as it concerns children, young people, and women who are the most vulnerable in every home, every society. May their hearts be softened to embrace inclusion. May the hearts of the leaders of the world and the leaders of our home and our families be softened to embrace inclusion, ensuring that women, children, and young people are given the dignity, opportunity, and voice they deserve. Fill them with humility, reminding them that true leadership serves all humanity, not just the privileged few. Lord, we ask for the courage and conviction in our leaders to break down walls of hatred and build bridges of understanding. Let their actions reflect compassion, justice, and unwavering commitment to the well being of every soul under their care. Bless this generation of leaders to create a legacy of hope, ensuring that no child, no young person, no woman is left behind in the journey towards a brighter and more equitable future. We believe here in One Global Movement that through your power, hearts can change, Lord, and through your light, humanity can thrive. In your mighty name, we pray for transformation, unity, and unshakable peace for children, young people, women, and families around the world. We ask in your name. Amen. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that this thing kick you out. That's okay. Now, we are now in the Mantle of Hope Revolution, Part 272. What is the impact of gender based violence on children? This is so important, and I would really like that we all contribute because gender based violence affects children more than any other person. And why? Because children are children. Children learn from us, they are just children. A child is the one that learns and look up to the parents, the caregivers, the teachers, look up to the institutions, churches, and the government. And they learn, but it starts from home. Our home needs to be a safe haven for our children. And if it is not safe for our children, and then this insecurity will also follow these children in the society when they do step out of the home. So it is so important that we as parents, we as mothers and fathers, caregivers, play the most important role of providing safety for our children, especially against gender based violence. And it concerns more women and young girls than men and young boys. But now it's everyone. It shouldn't even be. It shouldn't touch any child, whether be the child a boy or a girl. It's what we are here really talking about. And whatever thing we treat in society, whatever thing we discuss, whatever we work for, if that safety is not there, if a child is violated, if a child is treated like they don't belong, if a child is relegated to the backwaters of life because of their situation, their economic situation, or the economic situation of their parents, or their bank account, or the color of their skin, and if a child is violated, the child will never be happy and never be healthy. And when one child is not healthy in one part of the world, it foretells that all the other children are not healthy. Because you might treat your children because, well, I'm thinking, oh, I have my money, I have everything that I need. But who is that child going to interact with? Is the question that we must keep asking ourselves. Am I doing the right thing for my children that will also affect the other children out there rightly? They're going to go to school, they're going to interact, they're going to have friends, they're going to do a lot of things with other children and out of you. And even so, we will pass on and these children will be left behind. So we want to build a foundation that knows no boundaries, a foundation that knows no abuse, a foundation that treats one child the same as you would treat the other, a foundation that calls for unity, a foundation that seeks to love even in the midst of challenges. This is what we are asking for, because when we look around the world, a lot of things are going that are not okay. So what is the impact of gender-based violence on children? We've seen it. It has an impact, a negative impact on all of us, but children are the most vulnerable. Think about a 2-year-old or even a 3-month baby that is sexually violated. Think about that. That is so sickening, not just to the perpetrator, not just to the child, but to the perpetrator. Because for somebody to really go that low into the mud, it means that they are crying for help. So what can you do about the what is the impact to you? And there are a lot of impact, and there are also things that we can do. So a fountain, I will start with this quote: a fountain nourishes life with its endless flow. Its endless flow. A drain only takes. Be the fountain that quenches the thirst of hope and dreams in others. Choose to be a fountain. Just choose it. Nobody's going to bring it to you, but choose to be that fountain, overflowing with kindness, with love and inspiration, because the world needs your light more than it needs despair. Children need your light more than it needs despair. And we all have been endowed. We all have been gifted with greatness. We all have been given the best in life to help these children to overcome the situation. And sometimes the parents, as we know, are not always there for because of one reason or the other. We're not pointing fingers, because sometimes I myself, somebody had to take care of my own son too, because I wasn't well. So in such situations, we in One Global Movement here, we want to step in. The world is a global village and we can do it regardless. Thank God for this high technology, especially the one that we're going to be using from OnPassive, with clean, safe, and value is added, where children can stay in the confines of their home and still study and still communicate with the entire world. But we always want to make sure that we bring children together to interact with other children around the world, not just to focus in their home. Otherwise, we're going to be limiting the horizon of what the world looks like. So, how does JBV affect children directly or indirectly? How? And we're going to treat both directly and indirectly, and we know that it does a lot. Welcome, Melanie. Welcome. Thank you so much for hopping on again. And gender-based violence profoundly impacts children both directly and indirectly, affecting their physical, emotional, psychological well-being. And how does it do that? Direct effects on children. We can, if you guys have anything, jump in and say it. Let's make it a conversation, because we don't want to say this is the only way for children. We just want to pop in. Even if you cut somebody a little bit, that's fine too, because this is the way children are supposed to give that opportunity to express themselves without us just saying, oh no, it's this way, or it just has to be this way. So what are the direct effects of gender-based violence on children? We want to talk about physical harm. I like physical harm a lot because I was affected profoundly. Physical harm. If you look all over my body, like I always say, I have wounds on my hair where there's a spot where there is no hair because of physical harm, stitches, and I have scars all over me. But thank God that I am using these scars to help other children and other families. So, physical harm, children may suffer injuries or physical abuse in households. We have seen it. They've shown it. You go online, you will see how even parents themselves are abusing their own children in horrible ways that you will just cry out, you know? So physical abuse in households where gender-based violence occurs either as direct victims or through being caught in violent situations. You know, think about parents who are violating their own biological children in their own homes and threaten them not to say a word. You know, and it is horrible. Different kind beatings, sexual violation, whatever, emotional, all kinds of things. We have seen them, and sometimes those people themselves, they're not doing well up here, and we don't know, and we just let them be. Sometimes the solution is not to throw them behind bars, but is to put them in an institution where they will be treated, and then also rehabilitate them, because for somebody to go to that level, it means they are also crying out for help. So you talk about psychological trauma. Or witnessing or experiencing violence can lead to anxiety, as we know, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and long-term emotional scars. We know around the world people that have gone through certain things for more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 years, they still have the effect till today. They still have it. I still have the effect. But the thing is, doing this, it's also helping me a lot, to stay, to gain my sanity, and to not have all those worries, especially doing it together here. So we need to really watch our psychological trauma. A lot of kids are going through psychological trauma. The fact of taking a child away even from the parents in a way that is not good is trauma. And we need to rethink the way that we help these children. And so if you guys, if you have anything you want to say, Sister Yvonne or Melanie, you go ahead, and then we will continue with direct the direct effect of gender-based violence towards children. Oh, Sister Yvonne cannot speak. Sorry. That our microphone is playing boys and girls today again after a long time.
Okay, so Sister Yvonne, I'll take your place then. Hello,
Yes.
everybody. Um, yeah, hmm, that GVB violence, the impact it leaves is a lot. It's deep, and it's deep, and it's deep.
Mhm,
Um, with not even children only, but from, like I said, it stems from the very small child. Even babies are being part of violence, right? They're being impacted. Babies, from babies, even in the womb. When women are being battered with a child inside, that child comes out with a lot of problem,
mhm,
you know, either emotional distress or even sometimes physical disability because of the immense of the violence. So as we go along the path of life, as we see our children, whether it's related or non-related, they suffer with even aggression, a lot of aggressiveness,
mhm,
and we were wondering, again, last week we spoke about it, but we are wondering why that child is behaving in such a way. Aggressive, where they come to a point where they can't even speak. It's like they're shut down inside. And you're trying to wonder, as parents or as people around to see that, why
mhm,
is that child behaving the way that child is, or the adult itself behaving the way, and all of a sudden, like, they would lash out or cry for no reason, but there's something inside that's boiling out and they need to bring it out. So that can cause aggression, emotional aggression, and also physically they can harm their own self.
yes.
Children can harm themselves, even adults can harm themselves because of the extent of the violence. So it's not a good thing in this life, and around the world, as we say that, it's not a joke. It is very serious, and we need to do something. They will harm themselves in a way that people are not taking notice, or even if people are taking notice, but maybe people are not talking to them. People are ignoring them, so they have to get some way to get attention, and sometimes it's in the most absurd way. We see it all the time. Never stopping to ask, are you okay? If you want to talk, I'm here for you. I don't know you, but I sense that, you're not feeling well today. We don't have to tell them you're not doing well. We're not feeling well today. I can sense that. So can I say a word with you? You'll be well. And maybe that child will start crying out and then maybe say something, you know? And the other day I was in a supermarket and this child went around like a helicopter, spinning. Her mom is chasing her in that hole of the Walmart. People are looking. That child must have been abused. That child was running away from the mom.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom is screaming in the stand. People, I guess, they were on their phones, like the security. I don't know if they were calling children, whoever they were calling. But we were watching that, and I'm saying, oh, poor thing. I wanted to stop and just hold and squeeze her, but I don't know. I live in Canada, so your hands have to be off, right? I'm telling you. Yeah, so you might be doing help, but sometimes it causes hell. So that child was yelling in the store. No, I want to run away. So something is going on with that child. Anybody looking at that child, the way she was getting away from the parent, she wanted a way of escape. So those kind of things, when we see that as adults, we stop and wonder, or maybe even talk to the parent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are you guys okay? Something, or maybe the parent might swear, or maybe the parent might stop to talk, but just by giving a little gesture of help, you never know, right? And the physical consequences, academic learning is affected cognitive behavior, because that child behave in such that way that you'd think, like people say, oh, they look retarded or they act retarded, but you don't know what's going on. We don't know.
Yep.
The child had been so abused inside that they grow up into a young adult. They carry that with them through life, and they cannot perform well in life. So we have to stop being judgmental and be able to reach out instead. If we cannot reach out, we say one word, how are you, or one phrase, how are you doing? And we leave an impact right there, because that child will say, oh my God, somebody cares.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they don't answer you or they look at you funny, but they might think, okay, that person cared. And he might run into that child again. So we really have to be, Jesus, it's a risk. It is a risk in life, but it doesn't end there, because we are here to serve, we are here to help.
Yep.
We are here to help. And I look at it that way, as we can solve that part of the impact it has on children, as well as maybe even adults, because they're in the family, they're in our friends group, they're in everything,
Mm-hmm.
in every walk of life. They're there. They're at the workplace, you know. Like, I'm a victim. No, I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor, not a victim, a survivor. I have
Yep.
to remember that word.
Yes. And
So
you're thriving. You're thriving right now. You don't just survive, but you're thriving.
yeah, thriving. That's
Yes.
right. So we can create environments where the child feel safe and protected. We can establish that means of communication in some way. Like I said, if the parent have a phone, you can ask, is it okay if I text you? Not the child, but text you, because I am here to help in some way. You might not accept it, but we are here to help. We are here for each other. You just use those nice little phrases to them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and not that you're creating a show. You're being real.
Yep.
All right. And we encourage and support those who give care to them. Like I said, the teachers, if we can, get to the school when they have show and tell teachers, even if we don't know that child, just show up, be quiet in the background. That child turn and they see you there and they say, they will feel good, even if at the time they did not recognize who that person is, but then they turn again and they see that face. Oh, I remember her, or I remember him. I saw him the other day and then he stopped me. You never know how people perceive things. At
Mm-hmm.
the time, they may not, react, or they may give you the cold shoulder, but they will remember what you had done, that little gesture.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, this there's more, but I'm just leaving
Yeah,
that.
thank you so much. Yeah, we will be going round and round because this is what this forum is meant for. Discussion. We bring our own different perspective, our way of life, our experiences. So we go round and round as many times as possible. You know, when you talk about communication, it is very, very important because communication, when we have a child in the home, when we have a child in the home, the parents, or if it's one parent, we have to agree to raise our children with open communication, getting the child involved in whatever you're doing so that the child will also feel proud because they know, by nature they know that I am being included, so that when we're discussing something, they too will contribute. They might not contribute the way we think, but we have to also accept their level of communication because that is the way we were also. And so when we involve these children in open communication, they are also participating in decision making for themselves, not just mommy and daddy, or not just mommy or not just daddy. And so when you're discussing, this child is knowing, oh, mommy and daddy said, if I do this, this is what is going to happen. And if I do this, this is what is going to happen. Because there are always two consequences, two sides of consequences for everything we do. And so when you do that, these children, their brains are so spongy, they pick up on things very fast. And so when you bring something now, say maybe in the case of a divorce, and mommy or daddy wants to say something against the other, then this child will say, mommy, I think we talked about this with daddy, or daddy, I think we talked about this with mommy. We need to involve our children as young as the day they were born. You talking, they are watching your mouth. You talking, or that vibration, natural vibration from God is going into those children. They know. How do you think a child, you lash a child on your nipple, the child is breastfeeding. The moment the child accidentally bites your nipple, you go, oh, you, and then you frown. The child frowns too. That baby frowns. And you see, they know. They might not be talking, but they know. You know, a lot of things that we can do. And communication, knowing somebody, being able to trust somebody. That's why One Global Movement, we want to put ourselves out there again and again and again continuously. Nobody can just walk up to you. You can. I can walk up to somebody without really taking precautions or seeing that person, that person has done something good, like you said. You never know when you can meet that person again. When you do a good thing, they will know you in your community. I mean, the global community, not just this one. We know everybody around the world now because of this. So when we continuously put ourselves out here, they know who we are, what we are all about, what we are doing. People will begin to trust us. That's why we say, please watch this with your children. Watch it with your children. Make comments, and if you have questions, ask. We will go back and we will try and research, because we are here to serve. We are here to serve these children, number one. And that this is the most noble job. We talk about developmental delays, prolonged exposure to violence. That's why we say, I was telling my baby's father when we were together, I said, please don't talk like this in the presence of this child. Wait until this child goes to school before you can express yourself, and I will listen. But don't speak like this. He didn't listen. He was speaking. I said, do you know that this child will know everything, no matter whether he's two, three, or four, or five? He will quote you tomorrow. And I was the wiser one. I'm not gonna say it. Sometimes I get mad too. I'm not going to say anything when my son is there. I'll wait until my son is he's gone to school. And then I will say whatever I wanted to say. And so everything that, now that we divorced, we're not together. Everything that my son remembers is from what he heard. I heard my daddy said this, and never you speak bad about the other partner to your child. You're ruining that child. You're creating anger in that child, frustration, the spirit of revenge, and all the other things. You said we need to listen to children. When you involve children in communication, open communication, and you will know your child when your child is showing some signs, because there are those signs. We will treat that some other time, because this 2 weeks is too short for us here in One Global Movement. You will know the signs that show that your child has been violated. You will know. You will know, like that one that you talk about, Melanie, that says, "I want to run away. I want to run away." That's one of the signs. Some is withdraw. They withdraw from people, and then they go, and not to say that they can't have alone time, but you would know. You must know your child's pattern of behavior. And sometimes children are born with some challenges too. We should know those challenges and follow those challenges up as soon as possible without a wastage of time. And sometimes you might not, you say you might not have insurance, or you don't have the money to pay. Please still follow up. Consult people. There are people in our communities like family doctors, like midwifery. Like if you're like my grandmother, I'm not recommending it to somebody. My grandmother was a traditional healer for all her life. She never went to the hospital. She's still sitting there at 180 years old. She's going to be 109 soon. So there are some things that you can do, immediate remedies that you can help, but seek the advice of a professional and help your child. So health issues, children may experience chronic health problems, including sleep disturbances. Oh, mommy, I did not sleep. Why didn't you sleep? Because you're on your phone, or you start judging instead of finding out. Why did my child not sleep? Because if we train our children well, exposing them to this gadget at the right time, children will be prone to say, "Oh, I better put my phone away because I think our family routine is this," and you yourself, the mother and the father, have to put those things away. And these problems include sleep disturbances, headaches and weakness, immune system. The immune system is weakened. If your child is in school, sometimes they sat for the exam. They know, you know, your children are smart, but they didn't make it. They are going through some challenges. We must always sit down as a family. What family routine, what family fun time, games? You bring it just like fun. Don't just pound on this and this. That's why I'm saying this, discussing in a different light, because these 2 weeks has been, it's going to make 2 weeks tomorrow. It has been very hard stuff that a lot of parents and a lot of children don't like to hear, but we have to talk about these things. And therefore, talking about it is finding solutions to them. We have behavioral problem, like Melanie said. They have different behavior. Some children exhibit aggression, like you said, aggression, and some they, they withdraw. Some they have of difficulties forming relationship. They don't have they can't. And we see like go make friends, go do this. The child is struggling due to the violence they endure or witness. Do you realize, if we pay attention, where children blame themselves for a lot of the violence that happened at home? My son blames himself. Before, when the father would lash out like that, say, "It looks like I was a problem, mommy, because I was born." I said, "No, no, you're not a problem." You know, a lot of kids will blame themselves when the parents divorce, when the parents are angry, because in a home, who do you want to help first? The child, right? Because the child's help comes only from the parents. And sometimes when that help is not forthcoming the way it should, they clash, especially over finances, right? We clash. But it is up to us to sit down and say, okay, it doesn't matter who makes more, because this is the contribution of the violence that occur at home, especially physical violence. Okay, we make more, we are in this together. We have to plan. This goes here, and we don't squander the money taken to go and spend without the other partner knowing that we're spending. We need to do this. And we also have to save for rainy days, but we also have our own personal account. Saying this especially to us and the young people out there. Don't just put all your eggs in one basket. It's an agreement, because nobody knows rainy days. Nobody knows when it's going to come. You have your own personal account. It's for you. Your husband should not know. The husband has his own. You should not know, because before you guys came together, you came from different families. You have different people to pay tribute to in the form of whatever you want, however you want to. And therefore, those finances are there, but not for you to squander them anyhow, because in the end, every resource is a family resource. So these things are very, very important. I'm so happy that you talk about that. And sometimes I see Sister Yvonne mention it in the chat, that they will tell these children in a very unloving manner, "You're just acting out. You're just acting out." That's not a good way to talk to our children. We need to learn this. Imagine if I was spoken to like that, I would not be here today. My grandmother was always so open. My mom did not know how to talk because of her own trauma as well, And my grandmother was so open in conversation with everything, you know. And that's why I am so open. I don't even think I have privacy in my life, but I should have privacy with my social security, at least, or with with some of those some things, Otherwise, the scammers will come after us, right? So we talk about indirectly. We already discussed everything: emotional distress, witnessing a parent, particularly a mother, being abused, being punched, being sexually abused can cause feelings of guilt, helplessness, and fear. These children will grow up with fear. My son will say, Mommy, I'm just gonna give whatever I can give to my daddy, because I say, it's still your daddy. God gave you to us for a reason. We might not be together, but it's still your daddy. Make sure you take care of him, to give him food. Make sure you treat him when he's sick. Make sure you build him a home if he cannot build one for himself. He said, Mommy, I think he never did anything that much to me. I said, but he gave you birth, I said, okay, all right, do what God tells you to do, but I know that you're going to do the right thing, you know. We talked about educational problem before. Gender-based violence often leads to instability, forcing children to miss school or perform poorly due to emotional distress or displacement. The displaced, and I don't blame the teacher. Actually, I congratulate the teachers of the world. If you ask me, I will want teachers and doctors to be paid the most, because they are not just teachers, they are parents, they are counselors, they are psychiatrists, they are everything. And when you place 60 or 40 students with one teacher, how can that teacher pay attention to those children equally? The teacher is a human being. They will end up being worn out, and they are not even paid well, considering the secular school system. We know that it's all around the world. And sometimes when you don't teach children in their language that they understand, in their culture that they were born with, children exhibit behavior. We are yet to understand this, because that is what happened. Imagine I come to you now and I start treating you in a way that is out of your own culture. That will spark a behavior in you. A lot of kids don't study well, they exhibit behavior because they have not been trained in their own culture. That alone is psychological abuse. That's psychological abuse. And me, I think I fall in that category because I was refused an education and instead was given away into marriage. I'm not just saying it, it happens right in our homes with by the ones that we love. And so thank God for my grandmother who said, nope, I will go to school. And I went to school. And education saved my life. We want to be able to educate our children on all of these things. And Melanie, if you have any other thing, go ahead and add, my sister.
Yeah, I was also thinking too, what about the children who has one parent, either the father or the mother? Because now you find, children with father being both dad and mom, or vice versa. So there are questions asked by that child. Dad, how is it that I don't see my mom? And
Mhm.
what does the father say? Well, that's their own prerogative, right? Their own affairs. We don't get into that. But I'm thinking not just a child who is abused just by somebody else, but a child who carries that as it's almost like a sort of abuse because they don't have that other parent. The parent could have died naturally, or maybe just taken the child taken away and give it to the father or the mother. What about that? That's kind of a in a way, it's to me it's abusive because the child is growing up with one parent. The parent cannot do it all, especially in this world that we live, in this North American world especially. You have, like, back in Africa, back in the Caribbean, back, and maybe in North America too, we have a little, because I'm from North America, we
Mhm.
have family who cares and we have villages who care. But in the bigger countries, people care, but that little, believe
Yes.
it or not. They care about that jot, that little.
Mm.
So in that case, a child can be sad a child can display resentment because they don't have the other side. Like mom is not there to give them that girlish guidance. You
Mm-hmm.
know, dad cannot comb the hair properly because it's a dad.
Mm-hmm.
He might have to pay someone once in a while. You know, all these things can be posing, it's not abusive, but I put it in the line of kind of abusive. Not that the dad or the mom is doing anything bad, but I put it in that sense. I put it under that category
Mm-hmm.
because that child cannot fend for themselves and they are feeling a bit, less of themselves because their peers might be picking on them. Where's your mom? Where's your dad? And children are very,
They do
uh,
pick on them. They do
yes,
pick on them. I'm when I say things because it's something that just happens. I will say it for my son. We were not together, but we, even whether you're together or not, whether you're divorced or not, for the sake of the child, both parents must be there.
yeah,
Must be there. This is a God-given responsibility. You're not doing it to please anybody. You're doing it to please your own self too, psychologically, because we went to this high school homecoming because my son was playing football, and the daddy promised to come, and all the other parents, even the divorced ones, the daddies came. He was the only one. My son was so down,
um,
he started crying right there. And when a child is hurting, the mother is hurting as well. I have seen children that say, "Where's your daddy? Where's your mommy?" And that becomes a stigma. Not that
yeah,
sometimes, all the time, because children by nature, they are so open, they are so pure. They don't understand why things are not the way they're supposed to be. It's not something that we even have to talk about it. God created the world the way it is. And every child is born with that innate feeling, knowing that this is exactly the way things are supposed to be. But because of human behavior, they can decide to behave differently, but still the child knows, because that's the way that we were created to identify those things. And so it is really a problem. It is abuse. Psychologically, it is for those children, and we don't know. We can't talk that much about that because we don't know the kind of explanation that will be given to children like that. But I know the way that I was brought up. You know the way that you were brought up. We know how we were brought up, and we, in that case, for me, it will be easier for me to really talk to my son or my children this in a particular way. But that is why One Global Movement is here. What can we do? And doing so by providing economic stability, providing social stability, providing a safety for these children, making a place where these children can call their home, building communities. This is giving more work to us, but it is good because we're going to be doing it together. Imagine building a huge community for these children and their parents, particularly single mothers, and bring work in the community for them. They have skills. They can begin to grow with these skills and build themselves and build their businesses, because the moment parents, whether single or married, don't have that economic stability, the child will not be good up here. We know it. You and I, if we don't have the money to put food on the table, we get frustrated very quick. We develop a headache. What am I going to do? Sometimes anxiety, right? And imagine if this happened for the children. And we talk about long term. What are the long term consequences of gender based violence against children? We have intergenerational trauma. We see it. By nature, it is there. You're saying, "Oh, why are this group of people stigmatizing? Why are they behaving like this? It's been a long time since these things happened. Why are they still like this?" Psychologically, that trauma is going to be there. You guys understand what I'm talking about if you guys know what I'm talking about. Intergenerational trauma, the effect of gender based violence can perpetuate across generations as children internalize and replicate the patterns they observe. Okay, if a girl child is growing up, you keep abusing the mom, you keep abusing the mom. Guess what is going to happen? Naturally, that girl is going to gravitate towards bad men. That's what is going to happen. Naturally, it happens. And if a boy child is being abused, maybe by the mother or by the father, guess who they're going to gravitate to? Towards those very, very bad girls as well. But we have to really be determined to break that circle. It shouldn't continue. Let us not say it runs in the family. It doesn't. Nothing bad runs in the family. God didn't create the world like that. We have to be able to break it. We are in this together, and
Yeah.
we have faced it one way or the other. We need to be able to break this so that our children can live free. Let it not go from one generation to the other. Like I always say, I'll be the first person to break the circle of abuse, illiteracy, poverty. I know I'm not poor, but I'm only poor because people will make you to be poor, not because you're poor. We are not poor. We are made poor by systems or something. We can break that. Look at what we are doing here. This is wealth. It starts with knowledge. When you have the knowledge, you can do anything. And we have the health. We can do anything. We talk about lack of trust. We talk about it before. You talk about lack of trust, Melanie. Children don't trust you. They can't come close to you. So when you say hello, I am able to help. And one thing I was going to say is that when we want to text parents that are going through difficulties with either with themselves or their children, text it in a very official way. You say, my name is this. I am the one that spoke to you on such and such a day and time, and you were faced with this challenge. And I told you that I can help. Is it still okay for me to help you? Because there you have your own evidence. Because when they want to put you in trouble, they know that you didn't just jump on somebody, especially considering the world of today. You didn't just jump. And all the time that you're texting, maintain that pattern. And we want our children to maintain it. Like nowadays, sometimes you want to go on dates. This is for our young ones. And you don't do it officially. They might accuse you of sexual harassment. Do it officially. Sometimes even thinking they need to record it because sometimes some kids are being trained to go against certain kids, and so we have to do it so officially, and that's why we really call for divine intervention in the way we raise our children, so that these things cannot go against them. We need to really eradicate this. Protective measures, take safe spaces. Education, like what we are doing, is education, not just the classroom education is good, but it's not going to provide all of these little nitty gritty things that we focus on, because these are the most important things. It's good to learn to read and write so that you can read what is out there. You don't walk around like a blind person. But these important things that affect us, and legal protection is good, but we need to, moral protection is number one from home, so that before the legal protection come, you know that you have exhausted all your moral and ethical rules before you can go to that. What else do you have, Sister Melanie? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, like there's many things we can simplify. It's simple because we for one up there, he was very simple. He didn't have no big certificate, nothing. He
Mhm.
just spoke.
Yes.
So you see, again, we see a child struggling, or we see a child looking, not that they look dilapidate, they don't look beaten, but their hair is not combed. You can approach, you see daddy is holding that child. I have done that couple of times, and I'm saying, "Ooh," in my mind, I'm taking that chance. But then a big smile comes out.
Yes.
Oh,
There you go.
thank you.
Good.
It's not always, but couple of times. That child hair is not combed because maybe father can't comb the child's hair. Maybe offer, say, I love your hair. Yeah, you could do some nice curls, and that child will blush. I have seen that in children love to blush.
Always,
And
always.
and they roll their little eyes at you like with a little smirk. And this is a welcome, a friendly welcome. And then you don't want to go into conversation at right away, but you can tell that child, I can braid your hair, give some nice little curls if daddy lets you or mom lets you, and mommy, yeah, you heard what she said, something like that. So like there's many little ways we can trigger certain little things. Like I said, it's not in everyone, but there's quite a few people who will welcome those gestures.
Mhm.
Like I said, we live in a world that is not, we know we're not perfect, and all of us have some one thing of or another happening. So
Yes.
we are there to comfort each other.
Yes.
the
Yes.
brother's keeper effect. We are there to comfort each other. We are there to drag each other along with us, to take them to the upside, not the downside.
Yes.
So by just doing these little gestures, you just don't know how far and I sometimes I approach them and say, when I see them smiling and looking at me, I'm your aunt, and then they would be laughing and exchanging little gestures, right?
Yes.
And sometimes some parents would drag that child, oh, you're talking to a stranger, but a lot of them would just smile back and say, oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
you see, she's your aunt, things like that. So you start little things like that can lead to bigger things.
So
It's not like you want to change the whole world, but even if you do two, you have changed something,
yes.
right? You can start with one, but even if you do two or three, you can affect something in someone, in a
Yes, we
child.
start. We just need to start with one. When you
Yes,
start with one, you realize that you just go exponentially. You go,
yes,
like you're saying, I have that experience. When you are good to children, even in your community, guess who they go to during summer? They'll be coming
yes,
to your home. They'll be coming to your garage. They'll be coming to
yes,
ring your bell. Children of all kinds. It doesn't matter who their parents are. Children gravitate towards goodness. They
yes,
know that goodness. So I am really asking, we are asking here that to break the circle of gender based violence against children, we must do it with constant education and awareness. And love comes first. You have to be able to really love yourself in order to be able to give that love out to a child in ways of education or creating this awareness. And One Global Movement is going to come out with a program during summer where we come here purposely to read. I am when we as we go towards the end of this 2024, I am appealing and urging each and every one here, parents, uncles, aunties, cousins, nieces, whatever, create an educational environment, reading environment for your children, books, attractive books, but also other ones that they can read to know that you know what, this thing is not very okay. Create an educational environment for your children regardless. Buy books that are age appropriate. And then if you have a toddlers, you should have even prepared for those to buy letters and numbers, stick them on the refrigerator or on magnetic surfaces, throw some in their rooms and watch these children. Buy toys that will be singing the ABCs to them. Buy cereal that has the letters and the numbers. So when they are eating, that this is how you're praying and decreeing on their life that they're going to know how to read. They will read. I did that. My grandmother taught me. She never went to any formal school, okay? She went to an informal school. And I was doing that to my son. But then I became scared when he started reading before he turned 3 years old. I'm like, no, this is not right. This is not right. Even one lady saw us and my son, we were so scared to go out with him. He will go to the mall, he will go like this. He will not pass anything that he want to read. And I will go and I will take him with force. Say, get here, let's go. And he will cry. The whole place will be watching you. That we will just slow down. And finally he says, La cucaracha. One lady came back and said, how old is this child? We say he's 2 months shy of three. He said, what? La cucaracha? That was the name of a restaurant. So when you do that, I was afraid. I took him to, I said, no, we need to go consult the doctor. He can't be reading at this age, you know? And so the doctor said, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. But now I knew it because I started reading at the age of 5, because I went to kindergarten, but I didn't think that that was normal. So read, put those things around you. Get a book in your room so that you place books all over your home, like it's your home. You don't have to beautify your home for anyone. You do it for you and your family. Let the children, they turn around, they see this book, they turn around, they see this drawing, and they themselves, they are drawing. Do not throw those drawings away. I threw away some of my son's drawings.
me too.
I still have 3 boxes of them left because I'm like, this is too much because he was so much into crafting and drawing and inventing things. So let's do that. Anything that the child does, please keep it for posterity. You will be so grateful that you did. Someday they will just come, they take that picture, they interpret it, they know what to write. Now they write books because we all are supposed to write books for our family, not just to make money. Please let us come back here next year and we talk about I don't know what title. I think Sister Yvonne and Sister Melanie will help me. What title can we give for our environment of books, reading or whatever? So we give a title, then we read, we talk about that, and then we come here, we practice how to love people, how to speak. Those little things count. These are the things that our children need the most. So we have to end the cycle of gender-based violence. We need to love one another. We have to protect the rights of our children. We have to make sure that these children are included. They have the choices. Two is not a choice. Two, you're pushing this child to this direction or this one. But even to me, three is still not a choice. You have to give 98% of all the choices to children. And you have to advocate for your child. Go everywhere your child goes, making sure that you're taking part in everything that the children are doing. Yes, this is how we will help these children. And then we have to empower these children with endless knowledge. Endless knowledge and promoting gender equality is very, very important. Very, very important for our children, and improving mental health and physical well-being. A lot of kids, because of what is happening, gender-based violence, they've developed mental health problems that we don't see. We just label them, you're acting out, or you're being naughty, or you're being that. We don't even take time to listen. I am also learning sometimes too. I said, you're just being a naughty boy, you know. But I'm learning that we have to take that time and take that patience, and then creating safe communities. Who do you interact with your children? Do you know that where you go, where you and your husband go, the children will follow? Who do you interact with? Who are your community? But thank God we have on passive, we have one global movement community, which we now pick and choose. Even in unpassive, you need to pick and choose who you interact with. Even here in one global movement, because if we here for children, we have no choice. It's a must that we must behave in a certain way for our own health and also for our own children. Then we have to encourage reporting. When they tell the child, if you report, I will kill you. We have to teach our children. I used to act it out with my son because I said, don't open the door to strangers. So you have to team up with some friends or some good people in your family, act it out. Now you send a stranger to your door to go knock at the door, ring the bell, and see what the child will do. We have to do it repeatedly until they get it, so they don't open doors to strangers, and they dress appropriately, not one of the cleavage falling out. When you do that, you are attracting bad people towards you. We don't want to do that. And so let us encourage reporting and access to justice by building resilience and inform generations for all about these things, so that our children, ourselves, our spouses will never ever have to fall victim, particularly our children. There's always hope with all of these things. Please don't take it too hard. Open up this, because there's always hope for if we love, we have love, there's always hope. We are determined and take daily small actions to resolve the challenges faced by children affected by gender-based violence. And I want to say congratulations again to you, Sister Melanie, because knowing you from Unpassive, you have grown exponentially. I must say this. If we all can just say, you know what, there's no need for me to be so shy or quiet. I have to speak up. I have to stand up. And the way you're standing up now, I'm like, yes, yes, this is the way we want it. And you're doing it with grace, love, and all inclusion. And not to talk of our big sister, we must listen to her because she has too much in there, because her experience, that's why I say they need to give PhDs to people that are higher up in age. That's why they say, listen to your parents, listen to your parents, even though sometimes some parents are not the way that we think. But I also congratulate you for what you are doing here with One Global Movement, making sure that we do what we are supposed to be doing, because you've been there before us. And so thank you so much. Thank you to the managing director. Thank you to our beautiful, wonderful audience here. And thank you for everything that we all are doing here for One Global Movement. I highly appreciate each and every one of you. So let us go here. We might not be able to appreciate uh, every audience here today, but we can. Oh, what am I doing here? Looks like I'm messing up with this computer here. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy holidays to everyone, especially the new year. For those who don't celebrate Christmas, I know that New Year is always a time to be grateful for, to reflect, and to also, by now, start writing your goals. Some people love vision board. For me, I don't. I can go with vision board sometime, but it depends on what my head is telling me, because I don't have time to be decorating the vision board and doing that. Is to write it down. So then I follow. Have you started writing your goals? We should write what we're going to do. Maybe it's a continuation of what we are doing or what you are doing with your family and yourself. Maybe, just like Mr. Ashmufar, I know that it's a continuation of his goal is to uplift humanity from the heart, and he's working so hard on that. So what are your goals and your dreams for 2025? Bring them here, and not that bring them to talk about it here. No, just we pray and we bless these goals and dreams so that when at the dawn of 2025, we know that we are moving and we have to start now. And so I'm going to be recording a lot of Christmas and New Year's speeches. I'm going to be talking, and so that children of the world will have this something that will guide them and know that we are here. You can call Sister Yvonne, you can call Sister Melanie, you can call me, you can call Esther. Esther is still coming. The Melanie in Rwanda, who is always working behind the scene. There are other people in Cameroon that are working behind the scene. The managing director is there. Anything that you need, but make sure this stage also belongs to you, not just to some people. Please, we all are here are one. No one is more than the other because you were gifted differently. I was gifted differently. But together, we can help this world. We can help women and children. So thank you, Sister Yvonne. I think God says you'll be contributing in the chat today. Thank you so much. It's okay. Sometimes there's a way to take away from talking. So greetings, everyone, and welcome to the One Global Movement OGM platform. We are grateful for your presence and support. Thank you so much for that. And of course, Nancy is here. Nancy, congratulations and happy to you. I'm not going to say it here, but I saw it. Thank you so much. And we have Gutam Paul. Thank you so much, sir, for your love and contribution, especially as we move towards the end of the year to begin a beautiful new year. Thank you. And we have our brother, Defia Kuma. Great, the great. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us here from your end. We highly appreciate you. Our love to your little boy, your wife, and your mother. Thank you. And Haseen Khan, if you're new here, you're welcome into this global family. We are here for children. There is nothing else we can do that is going to please God except taking care of our young ones. So thank you so much for joining us here. Come again and encourage others so that they can know what we are doing and begin to build that relationship and that connection with us. Thank you. We have Cecile Y. How are you, sir? Thank you so much for joining us here today. We highly appreciate you. Thank you. And Sherry Bears, thank you, sister, for being a part of us. As always, we highly appreciate you. And of course, our beautiful Melanie Mukamugema. Always a surprise to have you here. I'm so happy when you hop onto this stage. Thank you so much for your great contribution. And anxiety, depression, and lack of trust are some of the outcomes of gender based violence for the victims. Certainly, certainly. That's so true. And we have SK Jafar Alisaka Mondal. Thank you so much for joining us here. We highly appreciate you, sir. And we have Ashish Opandeyi. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. We highly appreciate you. And of course, the managing director is always here. I'm welcoming all of you, even though I'm late. I have some appointments today and rehearsal that are keeping me very busy. That's good, John. That's what we need here. You can only come here only when you know that you can contribute, and you can only contribute when you must have taken care of those private things. I always tell everybody, don't rush to be seen here. No, do your own things first before you can come here, because One Global Movement is here to stay. Even when we are long gone, our descendants will take it over because it has to stay for children. And Nancy says, In this situation, they are looking for attention in the wrong area and they are being rejected. That's why we need to take a step forward by saying good morning, start a conversation, offer your help. Yes, and we need to make our children feel, because we were born with greatness. If I wasn't born with greatness, I would have been gone long time. I would have perished. My grandmother always told me, you were born with greatness. You come from royalty. That what they say in my dialect, "Uwumugu, uwumugu." I don't know how to say it in English. Uwumugu means something like the mountain of eyes. Like people's eyes are always on you, always on you because of what God has put in you. And therefore, you have to fulfill that to the world by taking care of women and children. And so, children are born with greatness. We know that. But we have to keep reminding them, because when you tell a child you have greatness within you, guess what? Their eyes will lit up. You see, they will jump. They want to do this. Or a child does something and they say, oh, this did not turn out well the way I wanted. So that's good. You tried. This is the way greatness begins. By trying it, it didn't come out, then you do it again. You do it again. All the cars that we drive, even even by coming here, we had to like take a shower, brush our teeth, and do things so that we can look presentable. It is the same with everything. So we need to remind our children, and they do, whether they have all their limbs on or not, whether they have a speech impediment or not, whether they fail a course or not, they still have it. It does not take an examination or sitting in a formal class to determine your intelligence. We were born with that. It's just that a lot of us don't make the effort to find out what our children love to do. You start from the stomach. How is your child kicking? Those sounds, those kicking, those things, they tell you something. If you really love that child that you got pregnant with, they start telling you something from since from the womb. The child comes out, the first book, within the first 4 hours, get the book. You should have even bought a book before even getting that child. So that when the child comes out, you start reading what you read on that day. I bet you is in that child's brain. Watch and see what they will do when they start doing something, reading or talking. It stays there. I am a typical example. I did my grandmother told me I did it to my son. Exactly the same thing. Exactly. So let us really invest. When you invest in your children, you're investing in yourself, in your family, in your community, and you're investing in the world. So that whatever is happening in the world, when we do this, these things will begin to just go away without somebody even wanting to raise a gun, raising a knife, raising a criticism, raising, putting somebody down. Those things would die a natural death by what we do here in One Global. And Mr. Ashmufara said it. He built on passive for children through the story, The Eye of a Little Boy. And that is why we must take this seriously. And thank God that One Global Movement is following in those footprints. So thank you. Please feel free to comment. Always, the managing director always like you guys to comment, and it's a good thing to comment because when we express our different views, it's a beautiful thing. And we have Rajib Roy. How are you, brother? Thank you so much for joining us here. We highly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then she says every year's December is very exciting month, but this is no results. We are waited to announce the yes. I will leave this here for Mr. Ashmufare. And you know, we Mr. Ashmufare is trying to help. Okay. And how I see it, he's trying to help. What were you doing before Unpassive came along? How were you taking care of your families? How were you educating yourself and your children? What were you eating? A lot of us, we it is said that you do not put all your eggs in one basket. That is such a true saying. You cannot quit what you were doing just because Mr. Ashmufara is trying to help. We cannot do that. Then you must have failed yourself and your children. If you are selling water, go sell it. If you even didn't want to sell water, you're putting chips on your shoulders, go do it. You see me? I do whatever it takes to really educate and feed my family. I do. I'm not shy. You see me in the mud, in the dust, doing whatever kinds of. You don't even know what I'm doing. I do it because guess what? There is gold in that dust. There is gold in that soil that we overlook it and always look here. Oh, he says he's bringing this. He is just a human being like you. And what he is building, it takes time. It takes time. Let us continue to do it, because if we do what we are doing, we are supporting him even more. Let us not make him feel guilty at all. Thank you so much. I'm really sorry that I have to say that. Okay. You say, all right, let's go here. Every 2 days, a woman or girl is killed as a result of gender based violence, GBV, in Canada. Sister, not only in Canada, not only in Canada, Cameroon. I was born in Cameroon, okay? It is there. I'm living in the United States. It is there. In different magnitudes and categories, in different sizes and colors. And they use fine language, nice language to cover up for those things. But we who know, we mothers that know how to give birth to children, we must, we must do this to save our precious children from harm. And yes, families, when I tell you to share with families and friends, it's for a good reason. I have some people that I share OGM, One Global Movement, with. They came back to thank me, and I expressed their gratitude towards me. Yes, thank you, thank you. You're like me everywhere I go. I don't know, it just comes out. And people are willing to listen to me. I just be talking, talking. They take out their phone. They want to see what I'm talking about. They Google, they see One Global Movement, they say, wow, how do you do this? This is too much work. I said, no, it's not too much work. I love it. I love it. The people that I'm doing it with, they also love it. So it's not too much work. So thank you so much, Nancy. And let's go down here. Brother Levi, Mama Bolo from the sunny Pretoria. How are you? We miss you. How are you? But thank you. I see you performing so positively online. And thank you so much for joining us here today. We appreciate you. Happy holidays to you and your family, and our love to all your children. So, uh, OGM vision and mission is to provide a safe space for the victims of gender based violence. Yes, hashtag OGM, hashtag JBV for gender based violence. Thank you so much. It's all our mission here. It's not my mission, all of us, because without you, I will not be here. I always operate with the spirit of Ubuntu, the African spirit of Ubuntu that says we are together. That's why when these ladies come here, I'm so happy. When I'm here by myself, I'm so tight, 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 But when they come here, I'm so happy. So I love you guys so much for being here with me. Thank you so much, ladies. And Calistro, how are you? Thank you so much for being here with us today. We highly appreciate you. And families, this is a wonderful topic. Even I'm multitasking, but I still enjoy it. So let's give ourselves a big thumbs up. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Most importantly, share, 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 and share. Thank you so much. Please take a moment to subscribe, okay? And always a big thumbs up when you come here. And here is our Facebook page. This Facebook page, sister, we have the number of likes and followers, but I was doing certain things that because I don't understand a page, I was advised not to give my page to somebody to manage it, because they will divert everything, the resources that they'll be sending to others. So I'm learning a lot of things now. And yesterday they sent me a note and say, congratulations, you are now back on track. So now I begin to cut those things that I was putting. I don't want to put different people's content. I wasn't even putting the content, is the music. They don't want that music. So I cut it off. And then I said, okay, you're going to hear my own crackling voice. I'm going to be singing my own too. And hello, Sir Manojit Karji. How are you? Happy holidays, sir, to you and your family. We love you and thank you for being a part of today's show. And Kanhe Yadav, how are you, sir? Thank you so much. If you're new here, you're welcome into this global family. We highly appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Great the Great is Divya Kumar. Is Mr. Divya Kumar, John? That's what I was doubting to before, but that's Mr. Divya. It would be nice if he can just put his name in parentheses so we don't keep doubting, right? Yeah. And please always type on passive with uppercase letters. Please, please, please. Good to see you on the platform again today, Sister Melanie Mukamugema. Yes. Hoping my mic will work when I am on again. I will take my leave now, Sister Mundih. That's okay. That's okay. I know that you're going to come on powerfully because now we just shift everything towards you to make up for today, and then we can also sit back and relax. Hello, Sir AP. How are you? Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today. We highly appreciate you. And thank you so much, Brother Levy, for always appreciating us here. And thank you so much, Sir AP, for your love and for OGM and on Passive. We highly appreciate everyone here and a big thumbs up for everyone. Happy holidays. Thank you so much, Melanie. I will let you give the closing remarks, sister.
Yes. So in my spirit, what I'm taught to say at the end is each child matters, as we know, from stems from young up until young adult, and even when they go into adulthood, because it's a child. A child doesn't mean it's a small kid. But regardless of what transpired before, each child has a chance in this life.
Yes.
Each child, even if they didn't start at an early age and they were educated about certain things at an early age, but there's always an opportunity. They can be 30, they can be 20, they can be 40. You just encourage them as parents. Okay, I know you probably didn't get at that, but it doesn't take, although you require college as a university degree, that as they said, but you don't really need that.
Yes.
You can do a skill, and the skill can take you into life because people admire what you do, you know? So we encourage them still, even when they become adults with children or with wife or husband, we still encourage them because they matter. You
Yes.
know, if somebody is not uplifted, they feel that, they are not being heard or they are not being cherished. So we just do something where we can show appreciation for life, and life is people. And
Yes.
people, children are part of people and they're part of us. As I said, related or unrelated. So we start from there as adults, as parents, as aunts, you know, as big sisters, and
Yes.
just try our best to go along life path uplifting.
Yes.
It leaves an impact. I have nurtured some young boys as if they were my children. They call me auntie.
Mhm.
And up till today, they are big men, some of them with children, and they still send me the love. They
Good.
still send me hi, hello. So it makes me feel good. And they don't have to be my race. They could be any.
Yes.
So we leave an impact when we start somewhere.
Thank you
That's
so
all I
much.
have to say.
Thank you for that wonderful, wonderful closing. Until
Well,
tomorrow, guys, stay well, and we will see tomorrow. But take good care of yourself, and let us end the this year on a higher note, and to jumpstart the new year even better. So I love you all. We love you all. Until tomorrow. Bye bye.
bye, Sister Yvonne. Bye, Yvonne Finn, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.